Rest days are part of training. So you don't do rest days instead of training. It's part of the training. We need rest days. So we're going to talk about rest days, what they are, how to do them, how often you should do them, what is and is not a rest day. And what we're not going to talk about is recovery. We're not talking about recovery, like the things that you can do to help yourself recover. We're just specifically talking about rest days. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, what does a rest day actually do? So when we're training breaks your muscles down. You are technically less fit than you were after you trained than when before you trained. And what those rest days do is it lets your body recover and build strength and recover our central nervous system, and helps, it lets that muscle tissue repair. It lets our nervous system recover from all of that stress, right? If you just have chronic stress all the time, like at work or whatever, you're going to feel that eventually. It's the same thing with training. If we're training every day and we're just always hitting that intensity really hard, we're just not going to be able to feel our best. We're also going to, it's going to help with our hormone regulation and help balance that out. It's going to improve our rest. So, all of these things really, really going to be beneficial across the board. We need rest days. Um, you know, when we're first starting out, when we're just getting into our training, taking rest days generally isn't an issue. It's when people start really getting into training and working out is where they have to force themselves to take rest days. So you don't get fitter from workouts, you get fitter from recovering from workouts. That's what we want to make sure we're doing. So that's what a rest day does for us. Now, in life, we still have to do stuff on rest days, right? We still have to live our life. So there's a difference between a true rest day and then an active recovery. So, you can still go for a walk or go for an easy bike or mobility work, or, playing with the kids or doing yard work or whatever it is. But what we don't want is structured training, time where you're structured in what you're actually doing. There should be zero push in whatever you're doing. There's no intent to be like, oh, I need to push this. I need to do this. That is when we start getting into training, right? So you shouldn't be tracking it. You shouldn't be racing it. You shouldn't be posting it. Like, you're just living life or doing an activity for fun. We're not tracking it or training. We're not pushing that intensity at all. So how many rest days should we take? Obviously, the answer is it depends. For beginners, what I like to say is, think about it more of like, how many workouts are you going to do in a week, and the rest are going to be rest days. So start working out twice a week. It can even be one day a week and twice a week, and then do that for a couple weeks, and then build it up through 3 days a week of training, and do that for a while. And then if that starts feeling good, go to 4 days. Now, the when we start talking about rest days, when we start getting to that 4, 5, 6 days of training, now we want to think about, all right, how many rest days should I be taking, and how often should I do it? Like, is there a cycle? The standard is 2 to 3 days on, 1 day off. 2 to 3 days on, one off. So, for example, like CrossFit, it's 3 days on, 1 day off. That's their recommendation. And if we can do that, hey, let's do that. But sometimes we have to fit stuff into our week schedule. Sometimes we have things going on. So 2 to 3 days on, 1 day off. I also don't like to take back-to-back rest days. In general, that can set a, sometimes if you're not very disciplined, or you're just getting into working out, having 2 days back to back can start building the habit. Oh, I'm not going to work out tomorrow either. So One strategy is, hey, I'm never going to rest 2 days in a row. That can be a really good strategy to help keep that habit of training. We can also think about, hey, what does my week look like? Like some people, like, hey, they build up to 5 days a week. They work out Monday through Friday, and then they use their weekends as their rest. So Saturday and Sunday is a rest day, and that is perfectly fine. Or it's, hey, I do two on, and then I take Wednesday off. I do 2 days, take Saturday off, and then Sunday. Sometimes I do stuff, and sometimes I don't. What we want to make sure is that we're just finding that rhythm and we're testing it and making sure that it works for you. One of the other things that we can consider is if we are taking 5 days on, or 3 days on, or 4 days on, and then a rest day, we can start thinking about, hey, can I manage my workout to adjust the intensity? So, for example, if I'm working out 5 days in a row, working out 5 days in a row, maybe that third or fourth day should be a lower intensity workout. I can still work out, but like just don't give it that full. Just, hey, pull it back a little bit and let that body take it easy just a little bit. So 2 to 3 days on, one day off. It's a really good place to be. And again, once you get deeper into training, you start getting a little bit more, you can start trying different things and figure out what works best for you, what works best for your schedule. We can also start considering age. You might need some more rest days as we get older. How's your sleep? Are you sleeping well or not? If you're not sleeping well, you might need more rest. If we have high levels of stress outside the gym, we might need more rest days, right? If your training volume is really high on certain days, we might need to take a rest day after that. There's other variables that we need to consider, and this is something when you start getting into those more complex situations, having a coach, talking to a coach can really help figure out how to best structure your rest. All right. Now, what are some of the signs that you should probably be taking more rest days? And, this is, we need to have self awareness. We need to make sure that we're figuring out what our body feels like and how we're feeling. But, if your performance is starting to go down, if you have nagging aches and pains constantly, you're not sleeping well, you're irritable, um, you're dreading workouts, you don't feel like working out, this is probably a sign that we need some more rest days. All of those things, we talked a little bit about, hey, if part of training is resting, right? You're not resting instead of training. That is part of it. And it's because we want to perform. And if your performance starts going down, if your numbers start going down, you're probably not resting, or we have too much stress and we need to figure out how to work with that. So we want to make sure that we're listening to our body and we are very self aware of when we're working out, how our body feels, and we can adjust that as we go. And when we get on a schedule, our body can start adjusting to that. That doesn't mean as soon as you don't feel good, oh, I need a rest day. It's when we start seeing those chronic issues that we really need to start reevaluating. Like training's hard, and it's supposed to be hard, and you're going to be sore and a little tired and whatnot. But if you're seeing consistent downward in your performance, if those nagging aches and pains are consistent over periods of time, this bad sleep is consistent over time, like all these are a little bit longer duration over weeks, then we need to start considering adjusting um, our rest days and where we put them. The last one is we want to make sure that we're thinking long term. That is one of the big tenets of equity and what we're trying to do. We want you to be doing fitness for the long term. We want to kick ass into our 90s. We want to build fitness that lasts for decades. And making sure that we're resting is going to keep you engaged instead of burning out. What happens a lot of times is people get into working out and they start seeing some results and they just want to hammer it. Oh, I need to get here. I need to get there. This person does that. This person does this. And then they just push too hard and then they burn out versus that nice slow burn, that consistent improvement over time by taking rest days, by moderating that intensity. That's how we get there. That's how we improve. We want to work towards better every day. So make sure to get that rest in. 2 days, 2 or 3 days on, 1 day off. If we are off, it's a very light active recovery or just no activity at all. I like walking. Um, Super fun, lets you clear your mind, more of the mental side as well. If you have any questions, specific questions, hey, I feel this, I'm just not sure. This is what I've done in the past, or, I just really don't know what to go. Please reach out. We love talking about this. We want to help you have a happier, healthier life. And that's what we want, more happy, healthy people in the world. Cheers.